Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. My name is Elena. I know Miranda was supposed to be hosting today, but she has some unfortunate events today, so you're going to have me, Elena, today. But we're coming here today to tell her story. And the main topic is talking about a battle with Crohn's disease. And I'm just going to go over a little bit of what Crohn's disease is, and then I'm going to introduce our guest for tonight. For some of you who may not know, Crohn's disease is an inflammatory bowel disease. It causes inflammation of your digestive tract, which can lead to abdominal pain, severe diarrhea, fatigue, weight loss, and malnutrition. Inflammation caused by Crohn's disease can involve different areas of the digestive tract in different people. The inflammation caused by Crohn's disease often spreads deep into the layers of affected bowel tissue. Crohn's disease also can be both painful and debilitating, and sometimes may lead to life-threatening complications. And that leads me to kind of introduce our guest and where we're going to start from there. Today, guys, we have for you is Marielle Landrom. She is a lifestyle coach who empowers individuals to become the best version of themselves. But this path to her life's work was no easy journey due to Crohn's disease. This disease took a toll on her body, where she weighed 79 pounds, was malnourished, almost costing her her life. But Marielle, uh, being the warrior that she is, used this life experience to feel her focus of healing her body and developing her mindset to overcome Crohn's disease, which she did. As a former D1 co- I don't know the word, track athlete, she can tell you when she come on here. She has a bachelor's degree in exercise science and a master's degree in education administration and supervisions. She's also NSL Bikini Athlete Pro. With all the obstacles and adversity she faced, she never gave up, but instead she let it shape her to her life purpose. So, guys, let's go ahead and welcome Miss Landrum. Hi, ma'am.
Hello, how
How
are
was that?
you?
I know I messed up.
No, you did fine. You did fine. Remember, it's not about being perfect. That's one thing I learned. It's about just sharing and being
Yes.
you, and whoever needs to receive it, they understood what you said.
Yes.
So it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate it.
How are you today?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. And
Awesome.
super excited just to, share with the audience my
Look,
story and be a blessing to somebody.
look, we are so excited for you actually coming on here and telling your story. We really appreciate it because it's a big thing to step into telling your testimony because a lot of people are afraid to do that. So thank you for even agreeing to do this for Bougie
Absolutely.
Girl.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a journey, but hey, sometimes healing comes from sharing your story. And I feel like the more I share my story, the more I'm able to heal and see how far I have come, from the situation. So, yep.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're gonna do is we'd like to start off with you sharing your story and how you overcome some of the physical challenges of it.
Yeah, so absolutely. So for me, I had just graduated from college. Like she said, I have a master's degree. I also was getting married the same summer. So I literally graduated from college in August, got married that July. And then 3 months later, that's when I started to really experience, like she said, some of the symptoms that most Crohn's disease patients experience. You talk about, having diarrhea, going to the bathroom all the time, usually always on the toilet, vomiting. So it was coming one in or out the other.
Wow.
And then also just tired. I really didn't understand, like, I was young, I was 23. So I'm like, I shouldn't be this tired. I shouldn't just wake up tired all the time. And I didn't understand. I literally almost felt like a 20-year-old in a 70-year-old body, if that makes sense, how they just are tired. They just don't have any energy. And that's kind of the way I felt. And then every time I would eat, it would just cause pain. And just really, one of the main things that really made me pay attention to it was just being balled up night after night in a fetal position because of the abdomen pain was just so bad. And so that led me to go into the hospital and trying to figure out, and them doing a lot of tests to figure out like what I had. And then, after several tests and doing their due diligence, they finally said, hey, you have Crohn's disease. And I'm like, first of all, I never knew anybody who had it.
Right.
And, so, for one, it was kind of a shocker being young. And, you know,
What
like I
kind
said,
of what once you got the news of that it was Crohn's disease, what was your mental state?
for me, I kind of was in denial, honestly, because like you said, I was a collegiate track athlete. So,
Mm-hmm.
you go from being completely healthy, never really been in a hospital, to someone telling you that you have to live with this disease for the rest of your life. There is no cure. This is an autoimmune disease, and we really don't even know how people develop it. It's your own body attacking itself. So you're like, are you sure? Like, like double check, make sure like this ain't something that's just going to pass. So for me, I was in denial for a little bit. And once I realized I had it, I was like, okay, well, I have to do something about it. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So um how did your family take it?
You know what? My family was actually really supportive during that process. Whatever needed to be done, they were there. And remember, I said I had just got married, excuse me, 3 months after we got married, so my husband, he definitely was a huge support too. At the same time, he was like, well, we're going to get through this together. And honestly, if it wasn't for that support and by the grace of God, I wouldn't have made it through, because my mindset was just really, I was down. Like the fighter that I once was, I was like almost ready to give up, because, having Crohn's, I spent a lot of time in a hospital, them trying to figure things out, being poked with needles, like just really feeling like I was experimenting, because they really didn't know, what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't your typical person that would come in with Crohn's disease. A lot of people, it was the older white man's disease, or what they
Right.
perceive, Jewish or whatever. So in the African American community, being young, like they hadn't seen anybody. So just, going in and out the hospital, experiencing all of that. And then the last thing was, which was the most traumatic, was when I just was really sick and the doctor was like, hey, look, you're going to have surgery. And that was where, the doctor came out and he was like, I don't know how you were living. I literally had got down to, like you said, 79 pounds, extremely
Wow.
malnourished. I had developed fistulas, just means that, remember, your digestive tract food needs to go through. And if it can't get through, it's going to find a way through. And that's what fistulas are. So that's toxic to your body. But by the grace of God, he was
Mm-hmm.
able to remove 1.5 foot of my small intestine. They were able to reconstruct it. It just happened to be right at the large intestine. So they reconnected it. So all I was left with was this scar that's probably about 4 inches on my stomach. But, hey, if that's it, I'll take that, because, I made it through or whatever with, the grace of God. And then my
Yeah.
family just being there to support me, being in the hospital night after night, just saying, hey, you're going to make it, you're going to be all right.
Right.
And I
And
did. I came out on the other side, and
yeah, and that's
yeah.
amazing, because just being in a young marriage and for your husband to be that supportive, because a lot of marriages fail because of sickness, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that what made your marriage stronger.
Yeah, but it did. It took us through the test of time. When I tell people, really, Crohn's, it affected me in a lot of areas. It affected me mentally,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, socially, because I kept to myself. I didn't want to tell people what I was experiencing. I was already small, so socially, I just kind of distanced myself
Yeah.
from people. Then you talk about spiritually. I mean, like, it's a test of your true faith, during
Yeah.
this time. And then relationship, wise, I mean, definitely, because, I'm supposed to be there for him, but I couldn't. I couldn't even
Mm-hmm.
hardly be there for myself. And then financially, I mean, I'm just getting started in my career.
Yeah. So
You
you
talk
were
about, you don't work. I was a teacher, so if I don't work, I don't get paid. I didn't have short term.
right.
I didn't get short term disability at that time. So it's just a lot of wham bams that hit you all at one time, and it was kind of a trickle down effect. But I will say those test of times definitely made me this person that I am today, and so that's why I'm so excited, because I went through all of that at a younger age to help people that are currently going through their situation, and let them know, like,
Right.
hey, no matter what, you can make it through. So yeah, so
Right.
we went through the storms early, for sure.
Right. So, other than that, because you said you was an athlete before, how has it impacted your life? Like, what challenges do you have now that you feel like you wouldn't have had if you didn't have this, the Crohn's disease?
For sure. So one of the biggest things was after I had the surgery, it was very hard to just even sit up and just do some simple things. So like they made a pillow for me, and in order for me to just sit out the bed, like I had to literally hold my stomach with this pillow to sit up because my abs had been cut on. So when you talk about starting over, that was the hardest part for me, was because you go from an athlete being able to do a lot of stuff, right? Just like
Right.
over the top next level, to now I could barely sit up out the bed. You know, I do a crunch and it's hurting. I do a little bit of working out, walking out. I'm fatigued. I'm tired. I
Right.
was like, this isn't me. You know, this isn't me. But I had to realize that I wasn't that same person, but that didn't mean I couldn't get back to being that person
Right.
that I once was or whatever. But I'm grateful because little did I know that all the times that I was running track and I had to push and keep going, because track is an individual sport where it's just you
Right.
out there getting better and pushing yourself, and your mindset has to be right. You have to be ready to go. And so that kind of really set the tone for my mindset of, keep going, keep pushing, because, in the race, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Right. And so
Right.
I thought about the same thing in my life. Like, hey, I may be here now, but at the end, I'm going to win this race. God is going to get the victory, and I'm going to be able to inspire millions of people. And so, that was kind of my mindset that helped shift me during that time. And my husband's like, look, girl, you are stronger than you believe. Like I couldn't even, have went through all of that. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I am. But, sometimes life knocks you down, blow after blow after blow. But the thing is, you just have to get back up and just be ready to go again. So.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you have, like certain scriptures that you would pull at that time? Like what, like, because I know you spoke on your faith. Like what really kept you focused on your faith during that time? Because I know something like that would, like, can really take people out of their faith completely.
Yeah, for sure. And I will, to be completely transparent, there was a time where I doubted God, because and actually I was angry at God, if I could be honest, because I was like, why would you allow something like this to happen to me? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I'm a
Right.
child of God, I live my life. I treat people right. I'm following what I call as a typical Christian, right? So
Right.
why would you allow your child to go through
Go through
something like
something like
this?
that.
But it wasn't until after I got out of the situation, I realized, well, he had grace. He brought me through this, and he needed to use my story, because that when you're tested, that's when you truly see if you truly have faith or whatever. And so it made me realize that God was with me all along. He knew I was a soldier and I was a warrior and I was strong enough to endure all of this. And that's why he gave me that task. And so everything now that I look at in my life, I'm like, thank you, God, because
Yeah.
you already equipped me with all the tools to be successful to get through this storm. And so that's essentially the way we have to look at it when we're tested, because we're going to all be tested at some time. But it's about remaining faithful and knowing that God has your back, and he's going to work it out. And at the end of the day, he's going to get the glory. But it's just your story,
Yes,
your
indeed.
story, his glory. And the biggest scripture that I can do all things through Christ who
That's
strengthens
right.
me,
Amen.
every single day. Like I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And just focus on that day. I wasn't worried about the future. You are
Right.
living for today. And I think that's where a lot of times we get caught up in focusing on, the future. We can't even control the future. We can't even control the past. All we can control is right now and the time that we have. And during that process, that's what it made me really do, is take advantage of today, because today is all we have. And I'm like, I literally could have been dead, but here I am. So that's what really shifted my mindset, to be grateful and take care of my health. So
Yeah. And a lot of people say, and I know it's true for myself too, is God don't have you go through something that you can't handle.
yep.
So if you're going through it, it's good to be in that mindset. Look, if this is what you allowing to happen to me, then I can handle it. So let's
Mhm.
get through it. Let's keep moving. Let's keep pushing, right?
Yes, yes, he won't give you more than you can bear. That's for
Right,
sure.
exactly.
He won't, and
Exactly.
he'll put the right angels around you. And that's what once I look back on my life, I said those were angels. Those were people. My husband was an angel. Friends that showed up at the hospital for me. Those were angels. He puts people
And it's
around
funny
you
how he
to protect.
placed them in your life right at that moment.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
what if it was, I don't know how long you knew your husband, what if it was like 3 years earlier or 4 years earlier? You know what I mean?
Yep. But he knew he was gonna be strong enough to push me to keep
Exactly. And
to
he had to build him up too for
yep.
that moment.
Yep, for sure, for sure. Because he's an
Exactly.
athlete. He played football, so
Oh,
he had that
wow.
mindset. That team,
Hmm.
and not letting people slack and pushing them and holding them accountable. So that mindset helped him, when we got through it, and he didn't quit. He didn't give up because his mindset was not to quit. He wouldn't have made it to the NFL if he would have quit.
Wow.
So people don't realize all those things that, you go through, they definitely do prepare you. So I'm very grateful for him, because he could have easily walked away, but he stood by my side every single night. And I just have to tell this story because, every time maybe we get into an argument, I think about it, is it really that serious? Because once I finished having surgery, I was in so much pain. They give you morphine, but you can only press it every 4 hours. So if I was asleep, I would wake up and I would be in pain. Mm-hmm. So this man stayed up in the middle of the night to make sure that when it was at 4 hours that he would press that button for me, so that I never had to wake up in pain. So, anytime we go through something, I'm like, man, if this man sacrificed and did this for me, like, I got to let it go. It's not even that serious. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a good story. Man. So the next question is, after your surgeries, how did you bounce back, and what changes did you make or have to make?
Yeah, so the biggest changes that I made in my life was, number one, just reducing stress, learning to just live life every day, and not stressing about it, because I couldn't control anything but me. I couldn't control other people, the situations and things that were going to happen. And then shifting my lifestyle as far as just healthy eating. And so, just doing a holistic, looking at what I was eating, taking out fried foods and things that were hard to digest, dairy, just a lot of like what people are doing now. So like, that vegan plant-based is kind of huge now. Well, imagine doing that like 12.
This is something you have to do.
Yeah, this was something that I started like 12 years ago, literally. Wow. On that journey to basically, just make sure that this didn't, come back or whatever. So I just changed my lifestyle. Then, of course, getting back to an exercise regimen, because it's just good for your mindset. From that aspect. So yeah, so really the lifestyle change that I made was reducing the stress, working out, eating right, and then surrounding myself around positive people, because that's, just as important, who you surround yourself with or whatever. And I just was committed to keeping that circle and doing those things. And I just continued to do those day after day after I had my surgery. So that's kind of how this lifestyle came about.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So, what impact? Next question is, how did the impact you emotionally?
Ooh, emotionally, it took me through the ringers for sure. I would say I was functionally depressed when I look back on like what depression really was, because I really wasn't familiar with depression, and they wanted me to talk to people, but you know how we are, psychiatrists, like, I don't have no issues, you can't help me, like what am I gonna do or whatever. It wasn't that they couldn't help you, but it was just more or less like talking about it. So a lot of things, and the type of person I was holding things inside. So I never really opened up and shared how I felt through that process. And so I believe that kind of hindered me from being able to move forward. But until I truly start opening it up and sharing my story and telling people how I felt, that's when I started to be relieved, because I was like, during that process, I tried to hold it all together and not talk to anybody. So emotionally, it took me through some things. So it took me some time to really heal, and kind of shift my mindset of saying, like, you're no longer in that, like, you have to fight for your life anymore. You're out of this. Like, you're not there anymore. You've overcome this. But it does. It takes time. And when people say like, oh, you'll just get over it. No, you just won't get over it.
It's like a process.
It is. It's a process. Every single day. You have
to be committed to the process of healing.
Yes, absolutely. So, I'm like, this was just every single day, just trying to get better. So definitely.
And like you said earlier, some things you have to take one day at a time. You can't flood yourself with future plans. You got to take it one day and say, okay, today I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and I'm gonna live like this just for today.
Yep. And then one thing that I learned was, so I ran track because I had a talent, right? That was my gift that God gave me, but I didn't realize also with that gift that it allowed me to relieve stress, right? So that emotion and how you feel was really, through track, I released that. So that's when I had to get a regimen and fall in love with the process of working out, because I worked out because I ran track. I didn't necessarily work out because I loved it. So that's where I had to backtrack and reset my mind on, this is really the benefits of why we exercise. Because when I was out
Right.
on that track, nothing else mattered, right? I just focused on practicing that day, giving it my all. And then once it was over, that was it. But I didn't think about what was going on in the world. And just sometimes when you exercise, that's what you're able to do. Like, it's not about me comparing myself to anybody else. I'm in the zone doing my workout. You get those
Mm-hmm.
endorphins and you just get it going, and it's important. So
Right.
um, I really am grateful for the workout piece because that's helped me definitely emotionally a lot.
Right. And I don't think people realize how important it is because I'm not much of a workout person or exercise, but when I do commit to it, I do feel better.
Hmm.
And it does because it'll release some endorphins and it makes you feel good throughout the day. So it's very important.
Yep, yep.
Let's see, what's this question? So we know that you're an educator. We spoke on that. How did your life experience affect how you teach?
Yes. So that's funny you said that because after, I taught, right when I kind of got sick a little bit before, but after that, it just made me have more empathy for my students, and like where they were,
Yeah.
because a lot of times you never know what people are dealing with. And people didn't know what I was dealing with, because I never said anything. And so
Right.
the biggest thing that I learned was to still be there and to support people. And so it actually helped me to be a better teacher because I learned how to listen. I learned how to be patient. I learned how to not judge and just kind of make assumptions.
Right.
Um, and so it it definitely helped me to be, just a better teacher. And they're always like, hey, you're just so non-judgmental. You don't get mad. You're even keel, one tone, and you won't see me get upset. And that was just
Right.
because, everything that I went through, I just understood. And so it's like all of that is not even necessary. And then it
Right.
also taught me that, it's not just about the academic piece, but it's really about the whole child, right? Because of me like running track and having certain people in my life and things that were instilled in me, it helped me to be the woman that I was, and that's how I was able to be a warrior and fight through when I had Crohn's disease. So I learned that everything that we instill in these kids, they may not utilize it now, but they'll come back to it. And one day when they're going through a situation, they're like, oh, I remember when Miss Landrum or Coach Landrum, said this to me, and this is what she was talking about. It was for this time right now. And so that's the thing that I love, because I am trying to pour into them, not for just this season, but for when they become adults and now like get into the real world and they really have to, make a decision, and you have to say, hey, am I going to be a follower? Am I going to be a leader? What decision am I going to make? How do I make the right choice? And they go back to the things that I have instilled in them. And so, like I said, I'm just grateful for that, because that definitely, all those things, just because of one little situation, Crohn's
Right.
disease, helped me to evaluate that and realize what was really important in life, and then helping the kids really find their purpose, find their true self, and be them, because life is too short and you don't
Right.
want to leave this earth without fulfilling your purpose and knowing that each kid has something. You have a gift, you have something to give to the world. So it's just really pouring into the kids, and I love it. Like, that's my
I could tell
but
you
yeah.
are very like you are on it. And
Yes.
it's just we talked a little about that earlier. It's like to have those passionate teachers, and like you said, those lessons is going to grow with them and stay with them, and they might not remember a math problem, but they'll remember the words that you told them to encourage them at the moment. So
Mhm.
to have that conscious thought and in your work, and that's amazing. That's
thank
amazing because not
thank you.
everybody get there. Not everybody get it like that.
Yeah, no, they don't, but I mean, hey,
And
everybody
I
has
literally had
everything.
teachers sit back and say, "Look, I get a paycheck whether y'all learn or not." So
Yeah, but here's what I realized: everybody's at a different place in their life,
yes,
and something will happen where it'll make them start to shift and really start evaluating. And I say, just keep being the light, so that those
yeah,
other people around you see, like, man, there's something different about her, right? Everywhere I go, I want people to know, like, that I'm shining my light bright. No, I'm not perfect, but I'm here for a reason, and I'm gonna make an impact in your life, whether it's for just 30 seconds that I see you in a grocery store, or if it's an hour of time that I spend with you, at a workout, or just wherever it is. Like, you have to maximize that time, because you may not get it back. But that little nugget that you put into that person, they'll take that for the rest of their life. So, and that's what we
right.
we have to do. So,
Do you think you would have been the teacher you are today if it wasn't for your Crohn's disease?
probably not. Yeah, probably not. That's why I said, honestly, I'm grateful for going through this situation now that I look back on it, because I'm so much further ahead in my thought process, and just my mindset is so different because of it. And now I'm light years ahead, right? I'm already healthy, fit body, fit mind, everything. I'm walking in my purpose. And think about it, there are people in their 50s and 60s still trying to figure out their life. And here
Right.
I am, 34 years old, and know my life isn't perfect. I don't have it all figured out, but I feel like I'm definitely walking in my purpose, and I know who I am and who God called me to be. And I'm not going to steer from it. I'm going to keep shining my light bright, so that those people who need me to be the best version of myself, so that they can be the best version of themselves. So I'm definitely grateful for Crohn's disease, because it made me the woman that I am
Right.
today. And it just keeps inspiring me to
Right.
inspire other people, because when you think about it, I could have been a person that was debilitated by that disease, on disability, and not able to do anything. But here I am, able bodied, not in the hospital, breathing air on my own, have my limbs to work out. So I feel like I have no choice. You know what I'm saying? I can't
Right.
not wake up every single morning on fire to inspire the world. Like,
Right.
nothing's holding me back. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yes.
not, Crohn's disease didn't hold me back. It will
Right.
only be myself. You know what I'm saying?
It'll
I
be your
am not the
mindset.
disease.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not the disease. The disease does not control me. And that's what people have to realize. Don't let
Right.
anything can take control of you. No person, no, nobody. But that's what the enemy wants you to think,
Right.
get in your mind and be like, oh girl, you got Crohn's, just sit back, wallow in your
You doing
pity.
too much.
Yeah, nope. Nope. I'm going to do what I have to do, because I've been through too much to not
Yeah.
let my light shine, because I need to be, there for other people and uplift them. So,
That's amazing. I'm so excited that you're so passionate. It's like it's like when you can see somebody passion in their eyes, like you're on fire, girl. I
yeah,
love
you better be glad
it.
you better be glad I'm sitting down, because otherwise, like, with the hands
Look,
to moving, the eye that, you're like, oh yeah, she's serious. Oh yeah, I'm serious. No, no.
moving around the stage.
Yep, yep. But I'm sitting here, so I'm a little calm.
Would you have done anything differently? Like during the time that you found out, after, and then now?
Honestly, no, because I feel like everything happens at the right time. We can
Hmm.
always say, I wish this would have happened sooner. But no, every situation basically sets you up for your comeback. And I had to go through all of those things, so that way, when I got ready to coach people, I would know what to say and how to do it, because I've already been there, right? People say, like,
Right.
what makes you a good coach? What makes you a good teacher? Because I've been there, you
Right.
know, and when you've been somewhere, it's not you just telling somebody, it's you going through the
Through it.
situation with
And
somebody,
you
right?
you you learn compassion.
Yep,
You
exactly.
learn
So,
understanding.
empathy for sure.
Empathy.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I'm like, I understand where you're at. Maybe we're not going through the exact thing, but I can help walk you through it. And that's why, like, some other people may know, like, my Instagram name is Miss Let's Go. And it's like, we're
Hmm.
going together. Like, let's do this together, because
Together.
we all need support. We need a community. We need a tribe of people to pull us through. Like, nobody
Right.
gets through stuff all alone. And you're not all alone. You have a
Right.
tribe. You just have to find your tribe. And that's what I learned.
And what you said earlier is you have to find your right people. You have to find people around you that's going to support you. And sometimes it's hard because some people are there to distract you and they
Mhm.
seem like they're for you. But as soon as you find out that person is a snake, you better get them out your life.
Exactly, exactly. That's why I tell people, look, when God reveals who people are, you better believe him, because he shows you. But sometimes we don't want to believe it, but we have to just let it
Right.
go. It's hard. It is hard, because you're like, man, that was my friend, that was my girl. But I mean, sometimes when you're trying to go to the next level, some people going
They're going to
unfortunately
fall off.
not going to be able to go there.
They're going to
And
fall
God is
off.
doing you a favor to go ahead
Hmm.
and show you, so that you can remove yourself, so that you can go ahead and do what you need to do. And
Right.
no love lost, no love lost. Shoot, I have been more friendships now that I'm older. I thought it would be like childhood people I knew forever. You like
Hmm.
no new friends, is what's that Drake says, but honestly, that's not true. I mean, some
It's
of
not.
my greatest friends are adulthoods that I even had, like, just in the last year or so. Like,
Right.
feel like we've known each other forever, because it's like they get me. Like,
Right.
literally what they say is like what I want to say. It's
Right.
almost like you complete each other's sentences, like they
Right.
understand you. And I'm like, yes, I don't have to explain myself to this person.
I mean, 'cause as you grow and you meet people as an adult, you kind of meet people that's in your same path or line of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just easier to connect with those people because they're on your same plane as,
Yep. Yep.
you
Say
know what I mean?
wavelength
Wave,
energy. The
there you
energy is
go.
there. Yep. You already
Exactly.
feel it. You're like, yes, my people, you
My
feel
people.
me?
That's amazing. So, go ahead and tell us about your life as a lifestyle coach and how long have you been helping people with that?
Yeah, so I actually made that transition 4 years ago when I relocated to Frisco, Texas, where I've been for 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that I had something different. I had a different calling on my life, but I wasn't sure what it was. And so, what one thing that I always realized was people were always coming to me for advice. And they were coming to me for advice because I had been through so much. Remember, I told you mentally, emotionally, socially, financially, relationship. Like I had been through a lot at
Everything.
a young age. And so I'm like, man, I'm always giving people advice, like maybe I need to be like, it was like a life coach. That was what people were saying. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not just a life coach because I'm more than that.
Right.
So it was like, this is a lifestyle because I
Right.
had to learn how to do this every single day. This is not something you just do sometime and you just show up. No, like
Right.
this is something that you do every single day. This is a lifestyle and it embodied three things. It's number one, your mindset, because to get out of any situation, it starts in the mind. So as a man thinketh, so is he in his heart. So you
Right.
have to make sure that you renew your mind every single day. So that mindset is so important. But also
So,
what
what would
could
you say to people who is struggling to get on the correct mindset? Because it's hard. Like, we said earlier, it's a process. Like, what
Mhm.
would you say to keep them on that process of getting them on a healthy mindset?
So, like we said, number one, being around other people who can
Mm-hmm.
push you to have a good mindset and just surrounding you in your circle.
Mm-hmm.
Affirmations are huge,
Mm-hmm.
saying those things, believing them, because sometimes we've been through so much, so many traumatic situations that, we've let life tear us down and we feel like we're not enough. So, if you don't feel like you're enough, then your affirmation is, I am enough.
Mm-hmm.
I am worthy. I am bold.
Right.
I am beautiful. And I look in the mirror and I say those every single day. And I had to tell myself because I started to not even feel beautiful, and just
Right.
feel defeated because of everything that I went through. Like, this is just my life, forget it. But no, like, no, you have a purpose, you have a calling on your life. So affirmations are huge for your mindset. And like I said, surrounding yourself around positive people to help
Right.
push you to change your mindset because it's easy to get caught up in, you know, the negative mindset instead of the positive mindset. So,
Right. And there's
mhm.
a lot more negative people in this world, unfortunately, than those positive
Yep,
ones.
yep. So hey, if they not, if this is what I say, if they not making positive deposits, I don't need it because we got enough negative. They can go on somewhere else. So hey, you gotta leave them behind. Sorry. So
Right.
yep, yep. And then also, like I said, so that's where it's the mind, body, soul because it's
Mm-hmm.
all connected. People understand your body is so important from an aspect of what you feed your body. Because it really impacts your mindset. If you're feeding it with sugar and junk, how can you function? You know, your gut houses so much. People don't understand, like, your gut affects your mood. I was wondering why I was depressed and why I felt bad
Wow.
because it's in your gut. Like your immune system, everything is housed in the gut. Your gut is like the second brain. So when I started learning and understanding, I said, oh, that's why I was feeling certain ways. So as people start to, you know, eat better, their mind becomes clearer. They start to feel better because what happens? They start to lose weight. They start to be confident in who they are. And when you're confident, you're like, forget that. Like, can't nobody tell me
Tell me
nothing. You're
nothing.
confident in your own skin and the way God made you. And that's
Right.
the way we have to be as women. We can't compare ourselves to other people. All you can do is be the best version of yourself so that you can walk in your purpose. And that's the soul, right? So that's
Right.
how everything comes together as a lifestyle coach. And it just kind of all worked itself out because I just thought back on my journey and what I did. So now I can help other people. So it's where I'm helping people become the best version of themselves. You're focusing on yourself, mind, body, and soul so that you can walk in your purpose. Because once you know your purpose, nothing's stopping you at all. Like
Exactly.
you like, hey, you like tunnel vision. You seen people where you like, man, they not focused on anything else. But once you know your purpose, you're not gonna let anybody sway you. You're not gonna care what
Right.
people say. You're not gonna be offended by people because they don't understand you because you know that you are walking in your purpose. You see my shirt, it says bold
Bold.
with
Yes.
purpose, right? We have to be bold, and go out there and walk in our purpose. So because nobody else can do it,
No.
only you can give the world what you have, your purpose.
Right.
Somebody is waiting on you. And once you realize that, you're like, cool, well, I need to do it because somebody's waiting on me. We got our own set of people who are waiting on just
Yeah,
us. So,
that's
so
amazing.
yep.
And then you said, so that was mind, your body, and then your soul.
Yep. So is your purpose.
Yeah, that
Finding who you
that
are.
makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep. Yep. Finding who you are. And that's how being a lifestyle coach, helping with those three components, because I feel like those are the key for you to be able to do what you need to do,
Right.
walk in your
Now,
purpose.
do you have a certain type of people that you work with? Do you like evaluate people, and if you can you tell if they're ready or not for that change? Because I
Yeah.
know people have to be willing to make that change, or it's just not gonna happen, right?
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Yeah. So usually we go through like just initial kind of consultation,
Hmm.
asking them questions, and then just figuring out like, why do they want to do it? Are you ready for this? Because I'm going to have to push you. It's not going to be comfortable. You're going to get outside your comfort zone. And then also you're going to be doing some soul searching and digging deep about why do you feel the way you feel, because a lot of the reasons why people feel the way they feel is because something usually traumatic or something, that maybe happened in their childhood. So you got to
Hmm.
unpeel the layers. So people got to be ready to unpeel those layers and really be like receptive of
Right.
taking ownership for, okay, here's where I'm at, but I want to get better. But if a person says like, I'm ready, and then when they're ready, and I don't force people. I'm like, hey, when you're ready, you let me know, because they have to be ready to be coached, to be pushed so that they can truly go. But that's what a coach's job is, right? Think
Right.
about it. When I'm coaching track, my job is to bring out the best in those athletes. And that's the same thing that I want to do for my clients. Like, I want to bring out the best because I know somebody is waiting on them, and I'm not going to let them slack. I'm not going to let them down because
Right.
somebody is waiting on you, and you need that accountability. And the funny thing about it is when you have somebody else holding you accountable, it's like a whole nother level, because you're like, oh, okay, I'm not going to let myself down, and I'm not going to let that
The
person
person
down.
down.
So
Right.
everybody needs a coach. Even I have a coach. You see what I'm saying? Everybody
Yeah.
has a coach so you can keep getting better. Once you feel like you're stagnant and you don't need nobody to tell you something, you're not growing
Right.
anymore. You have to constantly be learning and evolving and getting better, especially if you're going to be inspiring someone else. Because if you stop growing, then you're only going to reach a certain potential or
Right.
whatever. And everybody has potential, but you got to maximize your
Right.
potential in the time that we have allowed it. Because we all going to expire, we all going to die. But the
Right.
question is, what legacy are you going to
To
leave?
leave.
I mean, think about
Right.
Kobe Bryant. He was on what, 40, but while
Hmm.
he was here on this earth, man, that man had left a
A
true legacy.
legacy.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know him, but I felt it in my heart. And I'm
Right.
like, man, and that's the way you want to be. That's leaving a true legacy, not just about basketball, but just his character and who he was as
Right.
a person, and that mentality. And that's what I want to do. I want people to say, because of Marielle, like, man, she made me step up my game. She made me walk in my purpose. She made me not be able to be afraid. I walked boldly
Yes.
in my purpose. I was inspired. I became a better woman, wife, mother,
Hmm.
whatever in their career because of her. And that's what I want other people to do the same. So
Yes, that's amazing. Do you find that people have different times where they grow? Like as you coaching them, do people have different like? It's not like okay, in 3 months you're going to be here. Everybody have like a different timing,
yeah, absolutely. Because everybody's different,
right?
and like I tell people, honestly, this takes years, like a
Right,
compound effect. Everybody thinks that things happen overnight. I
right,
mean, most people's success, they were in the trenches, night after night after night. They didn't just blow up and be successful. They didn't just blow up being the person that they are, or being on
right,
TV, or doing, having all the book sales. No, like people, have really been grinding. So I tell people that really this is a process, and really I don't put a timeline on anything, because you don't know. It can
right.
happen maybe in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. But what I learned is if you don't meet kind of that timeline, then you start to feel bad on yourself. And then it's kind of like, oh man, I didn't get that done. And, it's just like, no, I mean,
And
if it takes
as human beings, it's hard for us to not look at other people progress and be like, man, they got way far. But like you said, everybody don't know everybody's story, and
exactly. And
that's
in
why
your
that
timing.
right.
Yeah.
Everybody have different timing because I just
Hmm.
like you said that like I'm thinking about um I know he's big on everybody right now. Is Steve Harvey. Like look at his
Hmm.
timing. Like he did a lot in his early years, but he didn't really hit it or make it big until he was in his 40s or
Yep.
later. So I feel like right now, especially since everything is so instant, Like with the
Mm-hmm.
social media, everybody's instant fame, instant money, instant.
Mm-hmm.
People can't understand the process of growth that you need in order to get that healthy mindset.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I couldn't imagine doing this when I was in my 20s. I wasn't ready. I was not ready
Mm-mm.
for the blessings and everything that God was going to give me. And sometimes people mess it up. So I'm grateful because now God knows, like, she's ready. She's been through
Right.
the trenches. She understands, and I'm going to do it for the right reason, and
Right.
not mess this opportunity up. So you just got to make sure that ready at the when your time comes, right?
Exactly.
And like you said, it's very important to not focus on other people. Focus on your journey, and you don't
Yes.
know how long your journey is going to take, but your journey is going to be a beautiful thing. Enjoy the journey while you're going through it, and know in due time you will reap your harvest, and it's
Right.
all good, and celebrate those people. I think that's
I
the
was about
biggest
to say
thing
the
is
same thing. And
celebrate those
celebrate other
people, because
people.
you're going to want somebody to celebrate you when it's your time. I'm
Exactly.
always on other people's timeline celebrating and excited, like, and they get it. I can't wait to get my turn, and that's the way you should be, because we all going to get our time. So
Yes.
don't worry about it. Like, just keep going.
Yes. And that's,
So
I think that's why we get a lot of people that's negative because they see other people's journey and then they essentially hating on that person's journey instead of celebrating them and working towards theirs. They want to be them negative Nancy's and nitpick on people's not mistakes, but what's the word for it? Like the little things that we all have our things, our flaws, and they pick
hmm
on people's flaws. Oh well, she don't have this, or she don't look
hmm
like this, or she look a certain way, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that's, especially in our community, I think it's really important for us to learn how to celebrate each other
Yep.
even while we are in the trenches working on our own journey.
Yep. Because one day we won't be in the trenches, and we're gonna want
Right.
somebody to celebrate us. So,
Yes, and
but
then
we're
we're
coming
hoping
up. I'm
somebody.
seeing us. I'm really
Yes.
proud of us, because we're stepping up. We're coming together, and
Yes.
we're doing it. And so when I see it, I'm like, I love it. However I can support you, like, let's support
Look,
each other.
let's get it.
And let's get it. Yeah, exactly. We can all get it. It's enough for everybody to eat and win
Everybody.
and be successful. We have our own group of people who need us, and it ain't no competition. We're not competing.
Exactly.
So, yep.
So I'm gonna leave it here. Like, if anybody have any questions for Marielle about health or her journey, or if you're struggling with something that she may be able to answer for you, go ahead and start leaving your questions while we get to our last question here. And our last question here on Bougie Girl is always, what makes you a bougie girl? Like, what is your um, what what word makes you a bougie girl? Because bougie girl means bold, one of a kind, um, unbothered, God's girl, intentional, and elegant. So, which one of those kind of represent who you are?
Well, of course, it has to be bold. It goes
Bold.
right with it. being bold, but meaning that really just being you, being
Yes.
true to you and authentically you. And I think once you realize that being who you are makes you unique, and nobody
Right.
else can be that person, then you're unstoppable. And that's why I
Right.
say bold, because regardless, nobody's going to be perfect. We all have flaws, but this is who we are. So, my personality, the way I am, I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I'm just trying to be Marielle, because that's the only person I know how to be. So,
Right.
I feel like you can love me or hate me. It's only two ways. I feel like people really love me, and they, I'm sorry, they really love
I
me,
mean,
are they just like, she too much?
too
And I'm
much.
okay with that. And I'm okay with that, because that means I'm just
I'm
not
not
that
for
person.
everybody.
I'm not for everybody, but I'm not going to water myself down for anybody else. I'm going to
No.
continue to walk bold, because I'm trying to inspire those people who need me. And that's it.
Exactly.
I can definitely be a bougie girl, and I'm okay with that, because, hey, I'm being bougie for the right reason.
Yes.
I'm being
Yes.
bougie for the right reason. And once you realize it, you're shining bright for the right reason. Don't dim your light for anybody. Just tell them to put on their shades, because I'm not
Yes.
dimming my light, baby. Okay.
And it's exhausting. I've seen people change who they are depending on who they're around and change a little bit. But I'm like, if you're not willing to be yourself 100% around no matter who you are,
hmm
you got a lot of work to do.
Yes, yes, yes,
So we
yes.
have Gloria here, and she just said, I just need help losing weight. So do you have
Okay.
any tips with her just to, I guess, get into that right mindset in order to start her weight loss journey?
Yes. So remember, everything starts in the mind. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to say and write down your goals, Miss Gloria, of like where you want to be, so that you're already visualizing yourself where you're at. So if it's 20 pounds lighter, you're like, I am 20 pounds lighter. I'm going to, and just I'm going to be this, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to, whatever it is. And then taking action and just staying consistent. And what I learned is don't focus on so much of the weight, but focus on the process, right? Focus on doing the necessary things every single day, eating healthy, drinking water, adding a little exercise into your routine, doing those things every single day. And what will happen is you'll have a trickle down effect and you'll eventually get to the results that you want. Because a lot of times when you focus on the weight, you get discouraged and then you backtrack. But how I end up getting to this body, like she mentioned, I'm an NSL bikini athletic pro, was this didn't happen overnight. I stayed consistent on that journey. Right. And I just kept working out. I kept eating right. I kept doing the right things. And by default, my body started to transform. I didn't even look like this when I was a college athlete. Wow. So people have to trust the process and know. And the reason why I'm able to speak on a health platform is because I've been there and I've done that and I've tried so much. And you get discouraged. I'm like, no, maybe I didn't have a weight loss issue, but I have an issue with, my own Crohn's disease and like, how am I going to handle this?
I'm sure yours was weight on the other. I'm sure you had to learn how to gain weight and healthy weight.
Exactly. Put on muscle.
So it's the other extreme.
Exactly. And like what to eat, because certain things I couldn't eat, so we all have different stories, but it's just figuring it out and staying consistent. So Miss Gloria, you got my information. I'll be more than happy to help you with that, because I know a huge part of just people being the best version of them is the body piece. And so that's what I'm here to do. So,
and normally what I tell people is, and I'm not in the weight help, but I'm a stylist. So I always tell people, when you start working out, and this is all more naturally with hair, because everybody wants to do hair, but they want to see results quickly. And I said it takes at least 90 days to see results. So you can't just start your process and in 30 days be disappointed because you don't see the progress that you thought you might have seen. It takes longer than 30 days. So I always tell people, take that 90 days, take a picture every 30 days, take that picture of your body, of whatever you want to see results. And I guarantee you'll see a result from day 1 to day 90.
Yeah, you will. And then people got to realize, think about how long it took you to put on that weight.
Right.
Sometimes it might take you double, but if you just stay consistent, I'm telling you,
like a blink of an eye.
Yeah. But if you just stay consistent and you don't even worry about it, by the time you look up, you're like, man, sometimes it's the inches, not the weight that necessarily drops off first, So, but yeah, really staying consistent and plugged into a community.
I know a big thing is, especially people focus on the weight side and they go on the scale, but most of the time when you get to a certain point, you start gaining muscle, and muscle weighs heavier than actually fat. So it's really not about the weight. It's about your body and your toning. And
I tell people it's about being healthy, healthy first and foremost, because people would have looked at me and said, she looks healthy. I was small, right? That's what people assume. Because you're small, you're healthy. But that's why I'm like, let me break that stereotype, because I wasn't healthy. I was suffering in the inside with autoimmune disease, Crohn's disease. And so I had to figure out how to be healthy. So focus on being healthy, because that's really the thing that matters, because if your weight is fine, your weight is fine. But if you need to drop weight for, other reasons, but let's just focus on getting healthier.
Right.
And everything else will work itself out. Yeah. If you get healthier, trust me, if you start making a healthier lifestyle, by default, you'll start to drop the weight and do what you need to do. So, yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on here, Miss Mariele.
Likewise. I hope I didn't talk your heads off. No. I usually am quiet, but when I have something to talk about, as you can see, my purpose.
Passion.
Passion. I can talk about it for days. So make sure y'all stay, in contact with me. I love to help people however I can.
Go ahead and tell me what's your Instagram, what's all that, how people can find you.
Okay, so my Instagram is just Miss Let's Go. So MRS, and then it's Let's LETS.
MRS.
MRS LETS, and then Go. It's GO. It's 4 O's. 1, 2, 3. And then also you have my name too, Facebook. I'm really on Facebook more than ever. So just inbox me, shoot me a message.
That, your Instagram?
Yes.
I was typing it in.
Yes. and then Facebook is just Mariele Landrom. Maybe that's why I tell people share this, because maybe there's somebody that that has Crohn's disease and they really need that support, because, I didn't know anybody, but now I want to help other people who may know somebody so that they don't have to feel alone on their journey, especially when you're just starting off because you're new to this diagnosis, you don't know. And it doesn't just have to be Crohn's, it can be any diagnosis. I mean, we pretty much all still deal with some of the same things of trying to figure out, like, man, how am I going to live a healthy life with this? Because you can.
Right.
So, that's just literally what it's all about. So,
Okay. Well, it was definitely a pleasure having you. Look, this has been the best hour.
oh,
I
I
was
appreciate
nervous
it.
at first because I usually don't host, but
You're so
look.
sweet. I appreciate it. Well, you made it simple,
Oh, thank
ask the right questions and have a great personality and you made this engaging. So again, I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. Thank
And
you. And guys, thank you for everybody who watched and listened. Please share, tag people, share it everywhere it's on. Make sure you go and follow us on YouTube. We're on YouTube now as well. Same thing, Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. Make sure you follow our page and share. We're gonna come with you guys with more things like this because we want people to grow. Like this is our biggest goal here at Bougie Girl is learning people's stories and growing people and trying to be the best version of you with the community around you. So that's what Bougie Girl is all about. So thank you guys for coming here and supporting us. And we love you guys. And we'll see you next time. Our next event is going to be next Friday at same time here on Bougie Girl. God bless, guys. Have a good day or night.